once again, and welcome to our first Doctor and Call after Carnival. Yes, indeed. And let me, of course, welcome each and every one of you, those of you viewing on GBN Television, our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and of course, our listeners on K105 FM. It's such a pleasure as always. So we're back. I know just before we didn't have live program, 2 or so. Of course, there were some little issues, and then Doc needed a little rest, much needed rest, as I would say, So I had no choice than to, give Doc her vacation. Yeah, she applied for it, and I had to agree because she'd been working really hard, and I'm elated. I'm excited. You can see the smile on my face. She's back. And I'm quite happy. Doc, good evening, and it's such a pleasure to have you back. How are you doing? How was Carnival?
A whole long chapter to talk about. But good evening to Grenada. It's a pleasure to be back. I really needed to stop. I think
Yes.
I've found my groove again. It's really been a long, hard period, and I needed to have stopped for a break. I know it's so funny because I went away and lost my phone. Go figure.
Well, yeah.
I think I just needed to just stop. So even that got work out.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be back. It's been, things have been happening. The weather has been murderous. And that's one of the things we're probably going to talk to tonight. I hope everybody played it safe and healthy for Carnival. I guess by now the VATs at Clark's Court and Wester Hall locked down. Because you guys probably drink it all.
Well.
But be back to, this is a time to get back on track. We check ourselves. It's always a beginning. I'm sorry, but my allergies starting to act up because I'm sitting in front of a fan because it's so very hot.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things we want to talk about. Almost a little bit of everything, but we need to speak. We need to look at our lives again and see how we're going to make the best of it as we go ahead. It's always a good time to start over.
Oh, yes, definitely.
A good time to begin, take stock and move on. Else you would have wasted the opportunity to have a good life.
Yeah,
So,
and also, Doc,
great being here again.
interestingly, while we are, just finishing Carnival and also getting into the middle of the hurricane season, today, actually, the 20th of August is World Mosquito Day. And I hope we find the time just to chat a little bit about that because, of course, dengue is always around and we know, what else. Yes, definitely. So
Things that don't go away.
yeah, so it's quite good to be back, folks. And Doc, coming from Carnival, well, of course, we all know what happens at Carnival time. People, they do their stuff, they indulge much more than normal. A lot of times guards are let down, and so it's a time when people can become vulnerable as it relates to wellness. Sometimes, in the peak of things, when we're having fun and we're, reveling and masquerading, there is nothing else on our minds. But it is a time when, we can become vulnerable. And one of the things that we know after every carnival, there is a flu that remains with us. From what I learned, the one that's going wrong now, it's called IV. So
Yeah, and it's funny because I never heard that calypso. So some young men were playing it for me.
yes, yeah, it's called
So I
IV.
know.
It's called IV.
Yeah.
But Doc, now that Carnival is over, there's a number of people who have heard they're done with the flu. In addition to that,
I missed 10 seconds of you, but
yeah. Now, I was saying now that Carnival is over, and many of us, we allowed our guards down, and so a number of things can happen. And right now, there is the flu. But the conversation tonight, aside from the flu, there are a number of other social and other factors that can affect us. We tend to spend a lot, so we come from Carnival, we broke, we ain't feeling well, we're tired, and a whole slew of things, that happens.
And we forget that school.
Yes, the reopening of school. In
And
fact,
feathers to go dance up in the street.
yeah,
So people probably expose a lot of stressors. I heard one person expressing the stress that they had so many visitors at their house. They're just tired. They're just glad to see the back of everybody.
I can
Because when
imagine.
everybody comes for carnival and stays at your house, you really want them to have a good time. The people come to Grenada to revel.
Hmm.
But then the people who are the hosts, yes, you want to make sure there's always food. You want to make sure your linen not dirty with jab color and all the rest of it. There's just a whole lot. So this is a time for maybe that people need a little rest as well.
Yes, 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 indeed. And in fact, Doc, unfortunately, in the news tonight, there was a story featuring the Child Protection Authority, I think it was, expressing serious concerns about the consumption of alcohol by minors. In fact, the lady reporting said that they got reports of children as young as 10 consuming alcohol. And, an appeal was made to parents to step up and ensure that, children are not involved in activities or in adult activities, and, they're not engaged in adult activities as well. So that too is another concern. And these are some of the things that comes with the carnival season.
Yeah, and, there's a law that has been reinforced that needs to be enforced. On procuring alcohol to children, making sure that children get their share of alcohol. So what people have to understand that a shandy contains alcohol, that Smirnoff Ice contains alcohol. A lot of those mixed drinks contain alcohol. So while we might not give our children, look at you see the girls with their vials in their on their thighs or in their pocket, their crossbody bags or something. Why may not give them hard liquor, as we call it, rum, and it's all its variation, whether it's under the table, on top of the table, white, red, aged, imported or otherwise. Why we may not give our children that? Your mother might give you a shandy, not recognizing that she's giving you, or somebody buy you a drink, or you go to the bar and there's no non-alcoholic beverage. We also probably stuffed our children with far too many sugar-sweetened beverages over the last few days. Way, way too much, right? And that was very sad. I wasn't around. There was Kiddies Carnival, right?
Yes, there was.
I didn't go to Kiddies Carnival because I usually implore that people make sure that their children are properly hydrated. And that, of course, those are the things you have to guard against, that people don't give your children noxious, poisonous, toxic substances while they play in mass, and inadvertently without really intended. Beer is an alcoholic substance. You cannot give a child some beer and put drink in it and put juice or in it. It's just alcohol, and we shouldn't. And there is a law, and there is there's punishment for it. What we need to do is to be really become really strong and reinforce and enforce the law so that people understand that this can be done. We can send somebody to jail.
Yes, indeed. But also, Doc, and maybe I just want to go off script for a little bit, because I think this is very important. And after I heard the news earlier, and the lady at the organization.
You're disappearing for some times. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. No, I was saying it's kind of unfortunate, and I just wanted to just go off script for a little bit, because after I heard the appeal from the lady, I am thinking that, yes, at carnival time these things happen, but I believe there needs to be more enforcement, because I think we've gone a little out of control, because every time there is some social activity, there is and I have nothing against, jab at carnival time, but this is the first option, whether it's carnival or not. And you see people engage in these kinds of things, and children follow, they get involved. And so it starts there. So it starts long before carnival. And so children get seasoned into that kind of thing. So at carnival time, it is just a matter of exploring, just doing what they are accustomed to throughout the year. So I believe there must be some sort of enforcement, and maybe the police needs to get involved here, and relook the permissions that are given for some activities, because they do impact our children in a negative way. So I just wanted to add that in, while we on that discussion.
So maybe one of the other things we have to consider: are we allowing our children to practice the level of hedonism that we practice in? Because there tend to be almost no boundary in what we do, where we do it. I mean, I love carnival. And I have not been to look at Pretty Mass in the last 2 or 3 years. I was like I was telling somebody today, I know a lot of anatomy, right? You had to do anatomy as a medical student, but I don't need that much exposure in my life every day. I can describe every single bottom on the street, every single muscle weighted, where it's not some muscles that are missing and the bottom hanging down to the ground. And people think it's pretty to expose the bottom. What is the story with us? And I'm not being foolish. I'm not being anyway. It's just that I think it's a little too much. I would like to take my mother, God rest her soul. I would like to take my auntie. I would like to take my children, my friends' grandkids, to see the parade of the bands. What I'm seeing is something that has no corners, no boundaries. I'm seeing a big adult party being allowed to parade on the street. I'm seeing a big adult party allowed to parade on the street. And I think it takes away from the traditional strong cultural influences that carnival would reflect. But then this is not a code for it. It's just that it's hard. Carnival's a time for me to me, when we could go there and do things that are for everybody. And I don't know that the parade of the bands does that. With all due respect to my friends who have bands, my friends who who play carnival, I think it's unfair to have my 6-year-old son watching him teacher expose a bottom on the street. One person mentioned that they had seen the HR manager who's going to come in on Wednesday morning and have attitude with you. We're going to have to figure out whether this is good for us, because carnival has lost a lot of its flavors. For me, carnival now is just down to traditional mass and jab. I love jab. I'm sorry. It's the only thing I went to see, right? But I find it stressful. I find it takes away from a time when we could already just come together and do it really clean. So I hope that we find a way that we can make carnival pleasant for us, all of us, our visitors who seem to have had a wonderful time, thank goodness, but can't handle the nakedness. And I'll tell you what, I'm usually concerned. The whole issue of we've had health challenges in the midst of all of this. So we still have COVID, right? Still have COVID, whether or not people want to believe it. And all the other respiratory illnesses that tend to appear when we have IV, we'll call it this year, right? And a lot of people have it. And she seems to be quite self-limiting and not as serious, okay? Because you've seen some serious post-carnival viral infections, right? But then we have monkeypox. And monkeypox is a contact, a disease that's spread by contact.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I always believe that when your neighbor bed catch a fire, you must wet yours. The Ministry of Health in Grenada has not really said anything about monkeypox as it affects us. But our neighbors said, we've seen a couple. We've had free entrance of our neighbors and our friends come to carnival because, people like Grenada Mass have vibes, they claim. Grenada Mass different from every other carnival in the world because it have vibes. It's so ethereal and so communitarian. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I worry the contact. You just have to rub on somebody who has monkeypox to get it,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
And we've
yes,
seen an
indeed.
increase in the African continent, and we've seen some around us. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very mindful in the moment. What do I do? You speak about consumption of alcohol. One of the greatest challenges with consuming alcohol is the fact that alcohol is actually going to make you forget all your worries. Okay, there's
Until it
nothing.
goes away.
Yeah, well, then you'll be worried with a headache, but you don't remember, and that's okay. I mean, it's a time people take alcohol to become disseminated. They just want to revel and have a good time. And that's all right. But you also have to go in there with a consciousness, with a mindfulness that there are things that can be deleterious, things that can cause you to have problem. When you go and jump up in whichever place you go to party, and it rained those few nights, remember?
Yes,
So
yes, there
you get
was.
trophy in your foot, you get all kind of skin infections, some of the dirt, the mud. You have animals that are in some of those places that can leave their things. So you have to be aware that, I need to go get my body overhauled. Let me go see my doctor. Let me make sure I don't have any fungal infections. Uh, And then the whole issue of consuming alcohol that bothers me a lot is that people become sexually intimate with people that they probably don't even know because everybody drunk and don't like it, don't want any order. That's your business. But I'm just saying, be careful of the outcomes. So you have to be mindful. You have to be aware of where am I, what am I doing, how is that going to affect me? Should I make another choice? Who the hell are you again? Step out of my face, right? Um, and then one other thing that bothers me is and maybe it didn't happen as much, but we had one severe, two criminal events with gunshots,
Yes,
right?
I heard of, yeah, one, and then there was
Another one out of
a
town.
stabbing in St. Patrick, I think it was.
Yeah, but somebody else fired some shots somewhere. The point is, um, you fear, you fear when you have 20,000 people in a small space and some fool decides he must fire gunshots.
Hmm.
It creates a lot of stress on the people who are exposed to that. But it also creates stress on our economy because people say, I'm not going to Grenada. I went to Grenada only because Grenada has been the most peaceful place in the Caribbean so far. And some fool, for want of saying a stronger word, decides that he must fire a gunshot among thousands of people. I met two young men, one young guy whom I know very well, who goes to high school. We met up on the carnage. I was actually heading home at minutes to 10 in the morning. And he says to me, Auntie, I was so scared. I said, what happened? He says he was nearby where the guy fired a shot. This is a child whose mother, he's going to fifth form nonetheless, but his parents allow him to go to carnival for the first time. And he had never seen Jab Jab, live like that and all the rest of it. And here you have a fool who decides he's going to, just spoil somebody's personal good morning. He's not involved. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He just went there to get
To
down
experience, yes.
back then. And it take me with joy like that. I really can't condone that kind of behavior, right? But if you go with a gun, you intend to use it.
Well, definitely, definitely so, definitely so.
And if you go with a gun, if you go with a knife, you intend to use anything you go with. And yeah, they have the little gangster thing. People go again. We have to get ourselves in a state of mindfulness. When I go on the Carnage, I go down Tantino, and I go because I want to see the bands. I want to see the Modern Night Mass. I want to see this stuff. And we have to respect each other's space. That way you can't come there looking for war. You want war? Go fight in Siberia or go fight in where in you where's the place? In the Russia against with
Ukraine,
Russia.
Ukraine.
Ukraine. You want war? Go there. You go to down to in South Central Africa where there's war and gangsterism. Go them places. Go fight for the Palestinians. If you really want to see gunshot and things that would kill you, don't come and disturb innocent people who just out there to have fun. That's bullying.
Yeah. So, Doc, I tell you what. We need to take a short break. I think we having a slight audio problem, so we're going to take a short break. We're going to get it rectified, and we'll be right back. So, stay with us, folks. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Yeah.
Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there easy. Enjoy competitive interest rates, specials on insurance, and offers from auto dealers. Ariza also has great offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. Apply for an easy ride loan from Ariza and drive away in style.
Are you looking for a reliable, affordable, and customer-friendly pharmacy? Look no further than Hills and Valley Pharmacy, the nation's leading healthcare products and services provider. We are committed to serving you at convenient locations. Find an extensive and affordable selection of prescription and over-the-counter drugs and medical supplies at Church Street, Hillsborough, Carriacou, Jubilee Street, Grenville, St. Andrew, near the bus terminal, and Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George. Our committed team is always available to offer valuable assistance for managing your health and wellness. Discover the additional benefits of our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street and our Medcare Center on Grenville Street, where we provide in-house physiotherapy, massage therapy, doctor consultations, and eye care services. Our commitment is to satisfy all your healthcare needs, including competitive prices, loyalty rewards, and special discounts for seniors. Contact us at 435-6904 and WhatsApp 535-4734. Choose Hills and Valley Pharmacy. Remember, your health is our business.
Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there easy. Enjoy competitive interest rates, specials on insurance, and offers from auto dealers. Ariza also has great offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. Apply for an easy ride loan from Ariza and drive away in style.
Spend $50 or more at any Hubbard's department or participating outlets for a chance to win free fuel, free drinks, free prizes, free property and vehicular insurance, free Hub TV and internet, free electricity, free coke, free water, free cooking gas, free paint supplies, free Dutch Lady milk, free passes to Sunshine promotion events for 2024, free groceries, all for one whole year. And every winner receives a free lunch package. But that's not all. Drive away in style in a brand new Isuzu D-Max. It sips, it doesn't guzzle. So fill out your entries and place them into the marked entry boxes. This promotion is brought to you in part by Dutch Lady, Danny, Promo, Supreme Bleach, Creative Chef, Grenlac, Floor, Salt Petroleum, Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited, Coca-Cola, Sunshine Promotion, Caribberies, Coop Bank, Sesame Spain, and Food Fear. Promotion runs from April 2nd to December 24. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, welcome back, folks. It's Doctor and Call. In case you're just joining us, Dr. Nixon is back with us. So, Doc, we're talking, the after Carnival. Yes, after Carnival. And, of course, a little later on, we'll open the lines, folks. We'll take some calls from you. I hope that we have our little audio issue sorted out. And so that you can hear us, fairly well. But Doc, I want us to speak a little bit about the importance of people, because a lot of times, one of the things that we've noticed during times like these, people who do have chronic conditions and who are involved in the masquerading, because they want to maybe consume a little alcohol and do some stuff, they tend to not take their medication. What would you say to folks like that?
Stupid folk. You ask me what? That's a very poor decision to make, okay? And we see it because people die after carnival because they have stopped being adherent, stopped taking their medications, stopped doing their diet, stopped exercising, stopped paying attention to what is important in relation to their well-being. Do you want to have a drink? You probably can have a drink. You don't have to have the whole vat. You know how I feel about this. You don't have to empty. Nobody can empty Western Hall vat. Because while you're drinking, they're making more. Okay? Or Class Good or whoever you're drinking. Nobody can empty the Caribbean factory. Okay? Because I see British tourists come for cricket and try that. There's always more where that come from.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So now that carnival is over, it is not too late for restitution. It's not too late for you to say, okay, I played a fool. I eat all the oil down. There's not a lot of breadfruit, but I eat all the rice and I eat all the fried chicken, which seems to be our national dish these days, especially fried chicken wings. Don't know why people eat fried chicken wings because it so contributes to high cholesterol. All that fat in the wings, they're not the hanging part of the fat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pure cholesterol, okay? I'm hoping that people have common sense. It's a good time to go see a doctor and put your life back together. Start back checking your sugar in the morning. You know, start back losing the weight because alcohol would make us put on a lot of weight. It's just pure sugar. That's what alcohol is about, right? So if you just sit on drinking alcohol and eating high-fat food, you're going to put on weight over the season, right? So I would advise people to start afresh, just like what you do after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a check, work with your doctor, work with your nurse, whichever clinician you have, right? Go do it. It's still time for us to do pap smears and breast examinations and all the things. And I want to look at I want to put people into age groups. So let's look at the working age, the people who work. Let's say 25 to 55, 65, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You still have to go and earn a living. You don't want to be ill that you can't work. Go visit your doctor. Go do the things you need to do. We still have to screen for hypertension and diabetes in those who have not had it, who don't know themselves to have it, and other diseases. You feel tired, it mightn't be because you've been jumping up. You could be having other illnesses, leukemia, whatever it is, anemia, right? We've been eating from all kind of people on the street. You can't get parasites. So go get checked, right? Go get checked. Check your eyes. Check your prostate. Check do your pap smear, like I said. Check your cervix. Do the stuff that you need to do. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people spend up all their money buying expensive costumes and all the rest of it. That's going to be another source of stress for a lot of people because on September 2nd, our children go back to school. So if you're a parent, I hope you have put your money away so you can make sure, yes, they're free uniform and books, but you still have other things. You know, you have the other things that you need to get. And that is not a responsibility of the government. I'm sorry to tell people this, right? The government tries to give us as much as we can. Parents have a responsibility. When September last year gone, what's happening next year, September? The other things, their children are moving from one level of school to another, and there is a lot of paraphernalia that you need to get. So the children who are going to go down to Sam CC, some of those books you have to buy. And even in the high school, you have to buy some of the books because they're not available on the book plan. Okay? I see a young man came into my office, 2 books for almost $200.
Yeah.
Does he need it? Yes, he does, but it's $200. That's $200 you can't take and play carnival. Sorry, right? So there's some books that are not available on the school book plan. All right? So you're going to have to buy this. Make sure your child turns up with his bag of books. That's your responsibility to ensure that your child has his books when school starts on September 2nd or 3rd for some people. Now, your child must not have to face embarrassment, bullying by other kids, being teased and all the rest of it. That's your responsibility as a parent. And yes, I know there are parents who have economic challenges. But I talk about those who take the money and spend it in frivolity. Okay? Now, we must make sure that our children are ready when school comes. That we must also be ready. Some of us are students, even though we're adults, we're still studying. You have to have your ducks lined up, right? All in a row. So so that you can start like a year Okay, a new year. It is a new school year for all of us, right? Some of us are starting new jobs. Some of our children are going from coming out of university into jobs, and some of us young people are starting a job for the first time. You can't turn up like you still have jab um dirty on your skin. You have to go make sure you prepare yourself properly. Learn how to present yourself hygienically appreciable. Okay, you can't just turn up. Oh, my locks, I really should wash it because I played jab. No, all those things have to be done. So when you turn up, you turn up like a new penny, ready to work. Okay. I think a lot of young people, young workers might recognize, boy, I've really consumed too much alcohol. Maybe I need to speak to somebody and get some counseling and see whether alcohol is a problem I actually have. Because I can tell you, young people in this country consume a lot and too much alcohol. And
Indeed.
I remember standing by a girl, where was I? Just passed by, and she had her vial of alcohol, the eighth bottle, and she had it strapped on somewhere, and then she opened it, Juve morning. And I just get a whiff and a drunk because I don't know what they put in the alcohol. One whiff and I when it opens and you feel like you're all dead. And I was telling by the wharf, so you have to kind of be careful because next thing you follow it, you get too drunk. But people have mentioned that sometimes it seems that the alcohol content in this season of frivolity is a lot higher. And I don't know, but it would make you more quickly addicted to the alcohol. So check yourself. If you think you have a problem, go talk to your doctor. This is a good time to start. People who deal with alcohol addiction and who do like 12-step program and stuff, alcohol has the highest possibility for getting into remission.
Right.
Right? So if people continue the program, up to almost 80% of people who are on a program do not drink again ever in their lives, as long as they get the help they want. So I know there aren't many Alcoholic Anonymous programs or Substance Anonymous or whatever it is anonymous, but the Ministry of Health and specifically the mental health services do have ways of helping people to get into Alcoholics Anonymous. And alcohol is our biggest substance. Not that people don't use other substances. Okay.
Right. I also Go ahead.
The other challenge we've had is the whole smoking. I see, all the novel smoking things, the hookah and all the rest. I want to ask you a question. Did you see at Caribou Carnival there was one of these panel trucks that had the ad for the vapors? Did you see that in Grenada at Carnival?
No. Well, I'll tell you this. I did not go anywhere during the Friday night after work. I drove down by the stadium. I did not go inside. I was on the outside. I sat there. It was raining a lot, and after that I went home. And once I got home on Friday, that was it for me. I did not come back until after Carnival. So I really don't know what happened. Whatever I heard via social media or word of mouth from other people. So I really wasn't part of it. So I don't know. I didn't see.
So this should be a sad thing because at Caribou Carnival in the pre-Lenten season, there was this truck promoting using of vapes, which is something we promised to talk about. Okay? Delivery of nicotine and non-nicotine substances to the lungs via this method. I would hate, because we spoke about it on this program shortly after Carnival in Caribou. And
yes.
We spoke on World No Tobacco Day about that vaping thing. And there's vapes that don't have tobacco, don't have nicotine. None of them has tobacco. But a lot of them have nicotine, which is the addictive substance in tobacco, which would make people end up buying tobacco as they grow up, because once they get a whiff of it, they're like, oh, there's my thing, right? So, I know a lot of adults use hookahs, which is a chalice, which is basically delivers whatever substance into your lung, and it's shared. But you don't want to share hookah with people who everybody share a split. You know, even they probably take off the nozzles, but you know, everybody inhaling from this whatever they're burning, whatever they put in there. The other thing is that the use of those substances actually cause, because it has to be heated up. So even if they use flavored sugar water, and that's what you taste on your tongue. Sometimes they just put a flavor in there to cover the bitterness of the nicotine.
Of the yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The heated air actually breaks up your lungs. Well, in 2020, we had COVID, right? And we had 200 people who died. 200 people who died in that first month when we had the big outbreak, right? After Carnival. We never had facilities for being able to take care of 200 people who died anyway. The thing is, however, people who develop respiratory problems, breathing problems, lung problems because of use of vapes and nicotine and vapes and hookahs and stuff, right? Regardless of what the substances in there that they're inhaling, run a high risk of getting what's called popcorn lungs, because some tissue break up, so you have these big popcorny looking thing, right? Which cannot exchange oxygen. So figure this: if you're 16 years old and you're vaping or you're using a hookah constantly, right, and your lung is damaged, you always gonna need oxygen until you're dead. Your livelihood is gonna change significantly. So I want people who have adults who have gotten into the habit to really reconsider. Well, I don't smoke tobacco. That's okay. That's really very good, right? But if you're smoking nicotine, you run the risk of smoking tobacco once you smell it, right?
So the gateway to other stuff.
Of mashing up your lungs. So, and then I'm going to ask the seniors as well. Don't take lunchtime. They're always working because it's all about money for them. Watch our children as you go back into school with the use of the same vaping systems, right? The delivery, the delivery system to the lungs that takes this whatever thing that tastes nice in their mouth, okay, while it kills them slowly but quite surely. All right, so this is an adult crowd. I want to look at our children. School starts next week. Mom and dad, granny, whoever the person is that is responsible for your child. Has your child seen the doctor? I know, is this week they have a dental clinic, right? Up in Wester Hall?
Yeah, at the school there, yes.
Yes, there's a dental clinic where they're gonna do. There's a clinic for everybody.
In fact, yeah, on mornings I do see quite a lot of people there adults, on my way down. Yes, adults.
And children. But our children, I want to focus on. We need to decrease the amount of cavities our children have so that their nutrition can be good. If you don't have good teeth, you can't eat carrot and cabbage and and cruciferous vegetables, because you need to be able to chew. You need to be able to chew so you can get all the nutrients out of whatever product you're consuming. So we don't have to make our children fog down pasta and rice and the things and all the bad things that we buy in plastic bag for them. And my nemesis, ramen.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So take your children to the dentist. It's free. They get cleaned, and they're gonna do the sealants on the children. A sealant really is like putting on a like always a plastic. People in New York is a plastic deck chair.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same thing. Taking care of the surface. But it also means that we have to link it to our children's nutrition. Tear away the enamel, and our children will continue to have the cavities. No, 81% of our children had cavities. 81%. Something wrong with that, okay?
That's a lot.
8 in every 10 children have even one cavity. Most of them had more than that. A whole lot more than that. We have to preserve, because it means that our older population will also have cavities. And that we have to preserve so that the older population also can eat properly to maintain, good health and ensure longevity. Have your child had his eyes checked? Did the teacher tell you that he doesn't pay attention in class? Is his hearing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Very important.
Are your children's vaccines up to date? Vaccinate your children. People tell you all the crap. We are here because of vaccines. Okay? People tell you foolishness. And a lot of the people who bring their kids in from outside, especially like in the US, the children do not have vaccines because they don't have the same rules, the same public health rules that ensuring. Now they're moving to say that all kids going to school in the US should have their vaccine profile. It is the law here that to go to school, you should have your vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
There are 10 basic vaccines that the extended program of immunization that's on that program. You know, the 5 you get as a child, the fact that you get hepatitis B at birth, the tetanus, the whooping cough, which is very bad because the babies can die. Tetanus, we say, hepatitis B, pneumonia, and then the other things like chickenpox and other stuff, which are not necessarily necessary, but you can do it because it means that your child doesn't have to go through. Remember, go through complications, which is what the problem is. Remember also that things like measles, mumps, German measles will kill your little child. That's how children died. And if they don't get their vaccines for the pneumonia in the early years when they don't have enough immune response to take care of the bacteria or the virus that comes, they're going to die. We don't want to go back to that stage because we have diseases. We talked about monkeypox a little while ago. We talked about malaria. Well, malaria has been there, but we talked about monkeypox. When you were a teenager and I was a teenager growing up, dengue did not exist. Dengue, I read in book at that time, okay? But we have dengue as an endemic disease. It exists here. We have chikungunya, which has become an endemic disease. We have Zika. Now we have, what's it? There are a lot of diseases that we don't hear about yet that exist out there.
And they can get here.
So children and make sure that they can have live their best and the longest life, right? That we can ensure that our population reaches back to its the potential to which it can live. What is your life expectancy? What are you expected to? How long you expect to live? All things being good and equal, on the day you were born. Okay, average in the world 89, 81. Some populations no. What do you think is the life expectancy of Palestinians today after they kill them all off?
Yep. That
right?
is.
You kill off all the you kill off thousands of people, so their life expectancy probably dropped quite low. Okay, and places where you have war, you'll have lower life expectancy, but that's understood. We've seen with suicide in the U.S., for example, suicide and COVID dropped the U.S. life expectancy probably by 5 or 10 years. And that is just in 1 or 2 years that happened, right? Over a year or two, they had so much suicide and a lot of the deaths by use of substances, right? So we want to make sure that when our children go to school, their skin is in good condition. They don't have lota and they don't have other parasites on their skin. They don't have scabies. They don't have airwax, air infections from being in the sea too often or swimming in pools and dirty water. We hope they don't get meningitis because they would have had their vaccines. We want to make sure that they don't have worms. Guess what? Children have worms. And I advise my patients and other people, I tell you, deworm your entire family at the end of every big vacation. So well done, and we all kind of foolishness from people that we don't even know. Although the people who are vending have to have their
health certificate and so.
The food handler's permit, which does screening and which does advice and counseling. You go to a stall and you ask Mr. John, you're selling fried chicken. Can I see a food handler's permit, please? You have a right as a citizen to demand that he shows it because it must be there displayed once him selling on the street, right? Where are you using the bathroom? All those kind of stuff. Where's the water that you use to wash your hands? And the same thing for people who sell outside your child's school. Where you wash your hands? Where you use the toilet, right? If you're selling time and ball and things that are loose, where do you do this?
Yeah.
Right? One of the things I would like to see parents do as our children go back to school is that they focus on making sure that the children have proper nutrition in the day.
Well, you know, Doc, interestingly, I've just been waiting because I wanted to go back to that when we were talking about, you know, returning to school and parents spending money on different things. And you know, you mentioned about the books, and so some of them you get. But I really wanted to come to that, and here you've brought it in, nutrition, because children need to be fed properly in order for them to learn. So that is such a critical thing.
So there is actually a school nutrition policy. Mrs. Brown isn't here tonight, but maybe we can look at that as the school opens. That should be implemented. Hopefully that can be implemented in all our schools. Parents might get bits, but guess what? We have to make sure that where children spend most of their day, their awake day, that is where they have access to the healthiest foods. All right? Should be an end. I think all parents should make an effort to not give their children little shushu bags to take back with the cheese curls and the foolishness and the sweet biscuit and all of that. Yeah, we've had hurricane and we have challenges, right? But buy a fruit. Buy some fruits. Get some fruits. Make mango slushy. Okay? Make mango sauce of pawpaw. Icicle, put in the fridge when they come home in the evening. No sugar. Right? We have to teach our children to eat differently. We have to teach our children to eat differently so that they can live long and they can be productive and they can learn. With the implementation of the school nutrition policy, I know it's already existed in some schools. I believe that this is my belief, that there should be a national school menu and that all children should, and it should be good. I think it should be attractive, okay, and healthy and nice. But all our children must go to school like they do in the U.S. This is what is on the lunch menu today. You don't have to bring in sandwich and all that. People are not even doing that. You don't have to bring in a sandwich in a bag and 3-pack of corn curls, and children go outside like I see in a school in town, my alma mater, God forgive. They go outside and all they buy is sweetie and fried chicken wings and all that crap. I think we need to have control over what our children as a nation, over the nutrition that our children are enjoying. They're the most important things to us.
You know, I don't know if they have, or if the schools have a menu per se, but I think under the school feeding program, I think, you know, efforts have been made to ensure that the children, they do get, you know, a decent meal. And I know they do have different things. But I'm not sure there's a menu per se, but I know they do get soups and things like that.
The school feeding program has its little bit of things related to it, right? The school feeding program was basically developed for kids who just did not have meals, who had, you know, economic challenges, etc. Let's say social challenges, and couldn't make it. Having a school nutrition program is something that's different. It doesn't target any one group of children. There's equity. Everybody eats equally good food.
Right.
It's nice, look good, right? Because the school nutrition program, people feel, oh, it's just poor people children have to eat this. Even if it wasn't so. And they thought that they will give them any old thing because, you know, we can be patronizing at times. With the school nutrition program, it takes in much more. It takes in what is sold outside the school. You can't sell within a certain distance.
Right.
You must make sure that there's water as a preferred beverage. There must be fruit. There must be balanced meal. It must be attractive, right? And hopefully, I would like to see that all schools have one program of nutrition, because all children all need this. There are children who have differences, you know. All our children are able to enjoy proper meals every day. They may have to be logistic changes.
So let me ask. So even if it's a, let's say, outside vendor, if they're coming into the compounds to sell, they must work with that particular. Yes. Okay. Okay.
What they do.
Right. Okay. Yes. Excellent.
Because it's policy, so it means once it's national policy, you have to adhere to it as a rule.
Right.
Not be law, but there's the rule that you have to follow. And I think it's going to be good for our children. And like I say, you may have to have logistic changes. who prepares the meal, because sometimes children just come with their lunch, right? Who prepares the meals, what the conditions, you have to follow that. Maybe some schools they have to set up like a kitchen and get staff and all the rest. But at the end of the day, we're going to have a healthier population.
We will.
Okay? So make sure your children have proper shoes, not shoes that squeeze because it's pretty. And Auntie sent it from June when they were a size 3. And no child at 3.5. You give somebody else a size 3 shoes and go buy another shoe. Right? Don't buy these synthetic shoes that the children end up having stinky feet. Proper socks, nice cotton socks. Teach them how to do their hygiene, how to brush their teeth, how to make sure their hair is properly combed, wash their hair. Teach them. I know some of us corner our kids say, but guess what? After 2 weeks, you need to take that crap out because your child can't look like he come out from under some house, like in the dirt under the house. Just the general hygiene of the children. Teach them how to brush their teeth, how to wash their face, make sure they get at least a bath every day, right? And that they go to bed on time.
Yeah, I think this is Doc. This the general hygiene of students. I think it's very important. Someone was relating to me not so long ago, and it was not very pleasant to the ear that they happened to pass in an area where you had some school children and. The hygiene was really lacking. Even some of the body odors. And this is a very serious thing. And I have to say it. It's unfortunate, but I think parents need to pay. There are a lot of little things that parents need to pay attention to. Probably they don't think it's important, but if a school child passes you and the body odor is offensive, that is a cause for serious concern.
So, that is often a situation that's difficult to deal with. And for some reason, I remember being involved in the theater when I lived in Jamaica and other things. And I was always the one who had the responsibility. Because it's kind of not easy, okay? It's difficult to tell somebody, hey, your armpit don't smell so hot. And I developed a way to do this by extricating a person from the group and saying, look, I'm telling you this because everybody's talking about it. Because people usually chat. And I'm telling you this because I think you deserve to be better. Here is what. And you ask them, because one of the problems a lot of our children have, like the schools where kids have to wear undershirt, vests, okay? And you go home in the evening and you sweat. Right? And you sweat. And you put your vest there and put it on back in the morning. All the bacteria you pick up yesterday.
Yes, it's in there.
Dancing. And as you put it on, you go back to work. And you go back to school the next day. And
even you sweat again.
Recycling your clothes is the biggest stuff. I remember having somebody around me who had a body odor problem. And when I picked up the undershirt, it was like, don't you smell this? And I taught them how to wash. Put like a blue soap in it and soak it and rub. And when you rinse in it, you smell.
Yes, to make sure that the odor is gone. Yes.
Right? And then people just roll on deodorant. Roll on deodorant is the worst thing you can use. When you use roll-on, you roll on your skin, right? And it picks up all the bacteria.
Everything, yeah.
And put it inside there, right? And you teach them, yes, you can use the roll-on, but pass your hand on the roll-on and put it on the arm. Pass your other hand on the roll-on and put it on the other hand. Smell your roll-on every so often if you're using roll-on. For some people, they like it because it doesn't burn. You have the alcohol and it keeps comfort.
Yeah, but also you can actually get something and remove the top of it, because you rub it and you rub it. So if ever you need to remove the top, because all of that residue from previous time remains there. And people need to pay attention, and this is why it's probably better to use the sprays,
or to use a solid, because I tell you,
yes,
scrape off the top of the solid every so often.
Yes.
But is the problem, and now that it's so very hot, because that's a segue in. Now that it's so very hot, you have people who put on deodorant more and more and more, so the order. What happens? The deodorant stick onto your clothes when you feel like starch under there, like concrete under there, and they don't wash it out. Most of us don't wash in hot water, but sometimes you need to put hot water to break down all that residue that sticks onto your clothing. And some people put the deodorant on their clothes because they don't want to smell bad.
Yeah.
Not everybody has body odor problems, because there's some people who don't need to use deodorant because their body doesn't function like that. Other people's bodies, but girls, when they're having their periods, tend to have it because of the difference in the hormones. When people are stressed out, if you're stressed out, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with financial challenges, even as an adult, your body odor can
It
change.
reacts, yes.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about it behind somebody's back. Somebody in the office or somebody in the classroom, teacher, grab a person and say, hey, it's funny because I had a situation with a mother. The daughter came into the office and I'm like, no, because this is not, and I don't expect this in that group, right? In that family. And I said to her, the child eventually, and she was a, good adolescent age. And I said, look, you're having a challenge. She says, really? I said, yes. And I said to her, this is how you're going to wash your uniform on the weekend, your shirts. You do not recycle your shirt. And some kids recycle it because it's clean, because they don't go out and play. Everybody's still with handheld in the classroom, right? We couldn't do that because our shirt too dirty. Can't go to school next day, right? And I spoke to the mother and she seemed like, yeah, I think so. I maybe. And I'm like, hello, what are you doing?
Maybe.
No, she understands what I'm saying, because she knows that a child has a problem. But that is what mothers and even fathers have to sit, because the boys too, right? And teach your children the boys how to wash their foreskin properly, how to wash behind your hair, why you need to wash your hair, especially if you're wearing locks, if your hair is braided, and all of those things. Because we have to maintain hygiene standards. Remember, especially in high school, you're going to be in the workforce in the next 6, 7, 8 years.
Yes,
You've got to have
it's important.
practice.
Very, very important.
And since I was drinking my water, the other thing, mothers, fathers, please give your children water to take to school. This holds 32. This is my third bottle of 32 ounces of fluid for the day. Okay, I had sugarless tea in the morning. I came home and I had whatever it was, sugarless. But I put ice in here. The ice doesn't really melt very fast. And I drink all of this. I guess I'm going to be up in the night. It is very hot, people. It is very hot.
So you have to hydrate. You need to hydrate.
We hydrate ourselves. We hydrate the children in particular. No sugar-sweetened beverages, please. It's cheap, it's affordable, but it's murderous. Okay, it's killing our children. It's making them obese. It's making them develop diabetes and hypertension and have cholesterol and heart problems long before they deserve it. Okay, it's also giving our children very bad eating habits, which means that they have challenges with their how they eat as adults. Okay, I watched and felt very sorry for the population in Carriacou, that in an emergency like that you eat junk. You get things that are easy to eat.
Yeah, yes.
And I hope to goodness that they can recuperate and go back to planting their corn and eating properly like they used to do. Because when we have a disaster, it breaks a lot of the habits.
Yeah, it creates a lot of problems. Yeah, it does.
And it creates problems. So hopefully Carriacou and Petit Martinique can get to a stage where they can be self-sufficient food-wise again, and where they can enjoy healthy foods. The other thing is handling stress. Now, again, Petit Martinique and Carriacou, the first thing that comes into my mind, right? The displacement, and that people don't want to go elsewhere, and that's their prerogative. It therefore means that we have to ensure that the support that they get, right, is correct. It's culturally appropriate, because you can want to carry stuff that people don't appreciate. But the support that they get is correct. It's there. It's sustainable, and it's what the people really deserve in order to go ahead. We have to look out for situations like depression and anxiety and mental illness, and people becoming, showing signs of apathy. It is. I think it's inconceivable. I wasn't here at Ivan, right? But I cannot conceive in half hour everything around you is destroyed. Right? And that's probably how Carriacou went. In half hour, everything was gone. And I remember I saw a post by the Minister of Carriacou Affairs early in the afternoon, because because I still had internet and stuff, right? And he said it's bad, it's really bad. And then they lost all the communication after. And none of us would have ever would ever be able to conceive that that is what had happened. That level of damage and destruction could have happened in a small, ethereal, happy place. But guys, here, June too soon. Well, June wasn't too soon in this case because on 30th June, Hurricane Beryl was formed. July standby. August remember. No, August,
September, remember, yeah.
What's August?
I don't remember what August is. August.
Look out. August, look out. September, remember, October, over. October is not all over. I've seen hurricane on December 5th. I've lived a hurricane on December 5th. We have had climate change. Today was murderously hot. Right?
Well, that's the next thing. It's not just about hurricanes. The heat waves, and in fact, I think it was it today? I was listening to someone talking about heat waves, and they were saying, look, drought actually, and when you have heat waves, and it takes you a little while before you realize that you're into a drought, because you may probably not have water for a couple of days in out, and then it dawned on you, but wait, I haven't had water for quite a while now, and then you realize you're actually in a drought. So we also have to be very attentive to what is happening. So it's not just the hurricanes, but the heat waves are also very dangerous because there are a lot of heat-related illnesses.
And I think all leaders, who in power, who out of power, whenever, have a responsibility to be collaborative in disseminating information with the interests of the population at heart. So you can't be undermining or telling lies, right? Regardless of which side you're on. Because we have to make sure our population is protected. We have to make sure that our population is protected in times when we have disasters and we're going to always have disaster, okay? We're going to always, because climate change is major. Did you see the Carnage? Did you see pictures of the Carnage? And we didn't even get hurricane in St. George's.
Yeah.
Right? And we are going to always have problems. We're going to have problems. The other thing is that because of climate change, there's going to be food shortage. So we're going to have to plant food. All the stuff we used to buy that's come to the Panama Canal can't come. Or when it comes, it costs 3 times as much because the ships have to take such a long route.
Well, Panama, they're now getting good showers, so hopefully that problem would be.
But that's a wake up call for us.
It is, most definitely.
So, the other population I want us to quickly think about is our seniors. Remember that people who are going to be retiring for the first time and they're home. We have to make sure that they have activity that is supported, because a lot of people check them as 5 years I've retired, 6 years, and I haven't even gone on a trip. I haven't go Carriacou. I don't even go up on raft in Balthazar, see where the Balthazar Bridge is again, right? They haven't done anything. We have to make sure and offer support to that population, because they're going to be left alone, especially people who just retired. In the summer, you had grandchildren and everything around, right? In the holidays. No, they're not there. Okay? They are the older population having dementia. Make sure you hydrate them. Find whichever way you can to make sure they get the fluids. Open the house, put on the fan. Might cost a little more electricity. Use less electricity, otherwise get bulbs that are safe.
Yes,
safe and energy saving. Do something, but make sure that they're kept cool, that they have the amount of water. And sometimes it's not just water, sometimes they have to have some electrolytes in there. Okay? As the weather changes, we're going to start to have diarrhea and vomits. This is coming from the hot months into the cold. I mean, I saw a picture of my brother's grandson today in Canada, and he having a puffy coat. His mother says it's cold in the morning. It's early, it's August. It's August 20th.
Yep.
So it means that this climate change thing is crazy.
Oh, it is. It is.
There are going to be more hurricanes. There are going to be more storms. There are going to be a lot more rain and other things. Let's protect ourselves from all the challenges. Make sure children have the right gears when they go to school and the rain is coming. Remind them that they mustn't go where Russian water is. And us stupid people must not drive through water that is Russian. You don't know what's in there. You do not know what's in there. So there are a lot of things that we have to be taken into consideration with climate change and just going back into the world. Going back now after all these big vacations. Okay? I'm sure we can take questions if there are any.
Yeah. So folks, the number is 435-2041. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, or if you want to share anything with us, you can do so. The number 435-2041. We're at a stage where we need to be paying more attention than ever to what is happening around us. Yes, Doc mentioned the climate change. It is such a crucial or critical thing, and this is something I'm very passionate about because I think I have a very good understanding of what can happen. So let's go to the telephone. I think we have a caller on the line. Doctor and call, good evening. So let's go to the telephone. I think we have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller.
I think you're actually echoing.
Hello. Okay, apparently the caller is not hearing us very well. But Doc, I just want to, because we're getting close to wrap up time though, and I want to have the guys coming and have that audio issue sorted out. But I just want to remind folks that, look, now that Carnival is over, and I'm sure we would have been involved in all sorts of things, we need to sort of, refocus and, get ourselves back in order, because not too long from now, we will be entering another period where we would start thinking about indulging again, because time goes by very fast. We're almost into September now, and Christmas will be coming. We need to pay very close attention to our health and what is happening. It is very, very important. We want to enjoy life. We want to be able to do the things that we love. In order for that to happen, we must be healthy. We must eat properly. We must remember to exercise, get enough sleep, drink lots of water, and of course there's a social aspect of things. We need to be in company that's good for us, not as we say, toxic companies. So our economic situation we need to take care of and manage. You don't need to be wealthy or have a whole lot, but if you manage what you have, manage your resources well, you will be in a good position. So Doc, maybe we could just wrap on that, and I'm sure you may want to remind folks of some of the important things here.
So I want to ask you though, before this, should schools provide lunch? I want to say lunch because it's a big meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if when you went to primary school whether they gave food in school, did they?
Not on the scale that it's happening now. At that time, most people, for me, I live close to the school. So at lunchtime, I would just walk across the street, went home, get my lunch, come back, and, But children who lived...
And the lunch would be food that your mother cooked, right?
Yes, definitely. The thing is, I was a little fortunate because both my mother and grandmother lived, very close proximity to the school. So if I didn't feel like going all the way home, and as I said, it's not far, my grandmother was basically 5 minutes walk from the school. My home maybe was about 10 minutes. So I it was good for me in that, I go home and I come back.
And you have free food.
Yes, children who live further, many of them came with their food, and there was something that they had that used to call the carrier. It had different
Stands.
different stands. So for example, if you have a home where you have, let's say, brother, sister, 2 or 3 brothers or sisters, the bigger one carries that, you have that carrier, and at lunchtime you just, you sit and you had your, so those are wonderful times. But I recall, for example, in mornings, you would get a cup of milk, and sometimes with biscuits and things like that. So yes, there was some level, but I think now it's on a bigger scale. It's on a bigger scale.
I have a very endearing story. I went to Heinze School, right? And there was a lady called Miss Joyce, and I really need to say this publicly. No, I don't eat cuckoo. Don't ask me why. I just don't like it. And I would cry if you look at me too hard. And I remember they had fish and cuckoo for lunch. And they had these little plates, these like breakfast plates.
Uh-huh.
They'd put on them. So the portions were already also very good, okay? No big hototo amount of food. And sometimes they do rice with the fish and stuff. And it was good because I never liked my food cold. And Miss Joyce served cuckoo with flying fish. Never forget that. Right? They just almost like boil the fish in a liquor sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up, when it was my turn, and my mother would let me eat the food in the kitchen, okay? And when Miss Joyce saw, you see my eye, I know the tears just roll along, the silent tears roll out of me. And she says, what's wrong? I said,
the cocoa,
But I'll tell you what it is. She and mommy knew each other very well, and I told her children that and how important that was to me. I never forgot that lady. Never saw her after I left high school. And then she migrated. And I told one of her sons is my good friend. And I said, I have to tell you this because next time Miss Joyce cooked cuckoo, she cooked 2 grain of fig for me. Never forget it. Just for that, I know she gone to heaven. But notice, she made sure I had something that was equally nutritional. She made sure that I had some food to eat. Okay? Would I let my child, look, that's a question I was going to ask, would I let my child eat school food? Yes, you will. As long as, because I think the authorities, the powers that be, need to also make sure that it is hygienic to start with. It's nutritionally sound, and it's palatably, enjoyable. It mustn't just cook fig and salty sauce or fig and fish for the kids and no salt or your pepper. It tastes good. You don't season. Make the children want to eat it. And if everyone eating the same thing, there's no class difference. I will let my child eat school lunch. Yes, they have lunch at school. Praise be Jesus. Because it means that we can have an easier start to a day. It means that I'm sure that you're going to get something nutritionally sound in the day. Mm-hmm. It might be days when I have to work late and I can't come home and prepare something, and I know that school provides that, right? And if they give the children balanced meal, I want parents to think about that because we're probably going to get to that point, right? It means that once there's a school nutrition program, my child is not going out and buying sodas on the street or bubble gum and sugar cake and all the stuff, right, as a meal, because we give our children money, but they buy foolishness because that's the level of discernment that they command presently. So I want parents to think about it. Would I let my child eat school lunch if it's under the school nutrition program and it's balanced? Yes. And like I say, and hygienic, prepared in hygienic conditions. My child don't come home vomiting the first day or having diarrhea on the second day, right? That is what I'd like.
Right. So we're basically out of time, and we're going to wrap here. But of course, folks, I just want to remind you, tomorrow evening at 8:30, you can join us for program 5. In season 3 of our Climate Reality, and we will be looking tomorrow at how climate change impacts our workforce and how we need to start retooling the workforce to adapt to the changing climatic conditions. We have to start looking at the ways in which we do things. Because of course we need to be looking at renewable energy and all of that, people who work outside, the excessive heat and all of these things. So we will be talking about that tomorrow. We will have Dr. Henry from Cipriani College in Trinidad and Mr. Andre Lewis of the Trade Unions Council. Yeah, and he will speak
I'm going to
on...
have to join that program tomorrow night. I hope I remember.
Yes.
Because, I was thinking of that today. Tonight, even before I came on, I was thinking of calling someone from the union. Because you should also have someone from the Ministry of Labor. You know why? Are we going to have to change our policy on employment?
Well, they are not. Well, these are the things that we'll be looking at. What are the plans? Going forward. In fact, a little later on in the season, we also will be looking at policies. What policies are presently in place, and what new policies will have to be considered as it relates to the whole adaptation to climate change, because we must take action. We must take action. So tomorrow 8:30, folks, be sure to join us for that. It's very important. It's all part of in fact, this season we're focusing on the impact of climate change on small island developing states, because we are seriously impacted, even though we're not the ones, creating the problem. So we need to look at these things. We need to ensure our voices are heard. We spoke of climate justice and just transition in the previous weeks. So tomorrow we're looking at retooling the workforce, the world of work and climate change, how we are going to approach that. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening for that program on GBN television. It will also be on K105 FM and on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So we look forward to you joining us. Doc, as always, it's such a pleasure having you. We will be back next Tuesday, folks, with another Doctor and Call program. And
I just wanted to make a quick point. We talk about building back better after we have a disaster. So the vacation and the carnival and the disruptions that it caused can shift our equilibrium, right? In our homes,
yes,
our behaviors and stuff. I think this is a good time for renewal, and renewal in a positive light. Okay? I think it's a good time for people to start building good habits, what we feed our children, how we exercise, whether we smoke or not, whether we drink or not. This is a good time for stock taking, and a good time to start practicing positive things. A good time to collaborate as communities to build, make sure we have spaces to run, to exercise, that we have places to go and have recreation and all the things that we needed, that we make our voices heard in relation to the whole issue of crime and violence in our community, that we make sure that there's zero tolerance, okay? You don't come in my community and chop off somebody. You don't live in a community if you intend to chop off anybody. That we look towards issues like dispute resolution and those things, teach our children from small, that we implement things that will create a quite happy society. There's always an opportunity for a beginning again. So I'm going to ask communities to look and see, what are my challenges? What are our challenges? I'm going to ask families to look and see, how can I make my family better, right? I'm going to ask workplaces to say, how can my workers be more productive and healthier? And everybody look and see, how can we start this new march to goodness, to building back better? And I'm not talking about building back houses, but yes. Would I cover my water drums so that I don't have mosquitoes? Would I get drums that have covers when I'm collecting? Would I recognize, am I going to read? Am I going to listen to the programs about climate change? Am I going to make sure that my child has his vaccines when he go back to school and don't fight with teacher? Am I going to make sure my child has his books and his nutrition and his hygienist problem? So we starting at a much higher level. There's always an opportunity to change. Carriacou has been devastated, but I think Carriacou is going to be a wonderful place when we build back.
Yes,
everybody,
yes,
this is a good time to focus on your personal building back, your spiritual life. And I'll tell you which God or which church to go to. I'm saying, make sure that there's this mindfulness and that you have respect other people. Let's make Grenada better. We really can do this. We're still lucky to be the people with the least crime in the region and probably in the world. But guess what? Each Grenadian has a responsibility to look at every aspect of life for themselves, for their families, for their workplace, for their communities, and make Grenada better. We build them back.
Thank you very much indeed, Doc, and thank you all for staying with us. It was indeed a pleasure. Be sure to join us next Tuesday for another Doctor and Call. See you then. Do have a good night.